Hi, my name is Damita Chatman. I'm with Citizens for Excellence in Elected Leaders, where we're doing the one-on-one interview, up close personal, with the candidates that's running for mayor of the city of South Fulton. And my next guest will be the former mayor of the city, no other than Mr. Bill William Edwards. And you can come on up and take your seat. I like to be personal, and so I'm gonna call it, I don't call him Mr. Edwards, I call him Bill, so I'm gonna call him Bill because this is up and close and personal. Thank you for taking my call and answering the call on this. We have a list of questions. The candidates don't know the questions, and I'm going to give them the questions, and they answer the questions, but we just gonna have a great time. So the first question, let me introduce yourself, Bill. Give you 1 minute to introduce yourself and why you're running for mayor.
Well, my name is William Bill Edwards. I'm what they call the inaugural mayor, the first mayor of the city of South Fulton. I've been sitting back for the last 4 years just looking at things, not really commenting on a lot, but just engulfing everything that's been going on. We can no longer be what we were. So I decided that I could come here and make a difference. And so that is the reason why I'm doing Damita, and I'm going to continue to have my love for South Fulton and continue to do the right thing.
Thank you. When you come up to talk on that mic, I want you to talk a little bit louder. Talk like you're talking to them grandkids. What are the city of South Fulton's biggest challenges, and what is your plan to address them in the first 100 days?
My plan is very simple. I'm addressing 4 things. 1, sustainability is 1. Economic development is 2. Accountability is 3. And the third and the fourth most important thing of them all is listening. I want to achieve the stability of this government, sustainability. We're doing a lot of things in this government right now that look good now, but can we sustain them in the future? Does the budget tell us that we're okay to do this? The accountability is about the trust. I got to instill trust from the community back into the government within the next 100 days, back into the government. And I need to make sure that the government is listening to the people. That's very important.
Okay, thank you. How would you describe the relationship between the mayor and the council, and how would you strengthen it?
The mayor and council relationship is dictated by what we call the Bible for the city. And that is that which we were founded upon by state government. Understand, the legislators for the city, their job is to do programming, Their job is to make sure that all of the policies and directions are given and shared with the city manager so that the city manager can carry out the programs, okay? I want to get back to that. What has happened is the council people have gone from policymakers and have delved over into operations. That's problematic, day one. You're supposed to, the policymakers are those things that you do that make a difference, that you do the resolutions for and things of that nature. But the city manager is supposed to fit those policies. It's supposed to take care of the policies, make sure that they're guided. So what's happening right now, the policymakers are dipping into operations, and that's dangerous in any government. We should make our policies and we should go home.
Okay. What is the current budget size of the city of South Fulton, and how will you prioritize spending?
I talked about 4 pillars of my coming back. One was listening. It's important that we listen. I understand what budget has increased. We got over $400 million, but it's not what you got in the budget. It's what you do with the budget when you get it. Let's sit down with the people and let's find out what is it that you would like to see with this money that we have. We have services that needs to be expedited. We have things that we need to cut out of the budget. Cut from doing in the budget because they don't make a lot of sense. We have in the Parks and Recreation Department, I'll use that for example. In Parks and Recreation, we have 18 parks, but we only have 50 employees. But every year, we have 200 or 300 events that are sponsored by officials in the city that's costing us money. And it's also costing us labor, and it's time insensitive and labor insensitive to our employees. We can no longer do that. That's just a waste of money. That's where we have lost our way from policy making and gotten into operations. You can't do it. When we build the new police facility, people understand that along with that police facility comes another park. There'll be 9 parks and we still have 50 people. So we gotta understand what's good for our people. We got extra money coming in. If our budget is growing larger, it's not our decision what to do with it. It's our decisions collectively. Seniors need stuff. Why are we not talking to the seniors about what your needs are? We should have, Damita, we should have a senior facility at this time. It's not a hard thing to do. We just have to get with the county, sit down with them, because it's the county's obligation to erupt that senior facility, especially when you have 118,000 people. But we gotta it's like out of sight, out of mind. If you don't sit down and talk with them, if you don't have conversations with them, that facility will be delayed for a long time. So we're gonna have to do that.
I didn't have that senior center, but since you brought that up, I'm gonna say something to that. I know that the senior center was told to me by the commissioner, because I had been working with him on that it was going to be on Stonewall Tail. I even, since you've been out of office, come to you with that. And the understanding that he told me that the senior center will be on Stonewall Tail on their property. So is that delayed? Have you heard anyone talk about it?
Yes, I talked with the city manager, and I've talked with chairman.
Okay.
That's a logical location, and I'm gonna tell you why. The biggest part of anything is land costs. The county already owns the land. It will sell it to the city at a minimal cost. I don't know what that may be, maybe $1 an acre, I don't know. Here has been the holdup. The site where, outside of not communicating with each other, the site where this location is supposed to be, was it what we call the recreational facility type?
Mm-hmm.
It had some environmental problems.
Okay.
There are gas tanks out, it was public works, I'm sorry. It was a public works location. So you have gas stations out there. Used to be a small jail out there. So we have to go through and get all the environmental issues taken care of. That's what the county is working on. I think it's a great site, and I'll tell you why. It's a great site because you have your senior facility. Across the street, you have your county facility. Down the street, just a little bit, it's your state facility. You have a bus stop right in the middle of everything. It also adjoins the tennis center and the dog park. We could have a real nice community complex or a government complex right in that area and not spend as much money as we'd have to spend doing something else. It's still alive. The county still wants to do it. It's not just the county wants to do it. The county must do it. Then you have to be very careful what kind of facility you want to put there. Is it a neighborhood facility or is it a multi-purpose facility? We cannot have a neighborhood facility in a city this large. You're going to have multi-purpose. And multi-purpose provides for you to have swimming and all these other things that other ones don't have. So at $118,000, we can't build a facility that looks like maybe the one you would have in Fairman.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. How familiar are you with the city's current strategy plan, and what would you add or change?
I've been in contact with some of the council people about what their strategies are and how and what we need to change. I'll give you a classic example. I just had a conversation. We talk about economic development and how we're going to bring businesses in and things of that nature. That's a strategy. So we provide ourselves with ordinances, resolutions that will help us provide that particular strategy in a wholesome manner. If that's the case, why do we put two gas stations together? You remember the case of the two hair salons?
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, it was a strategy before, Damita. The strategy was we didn't want to have businesses of like kind that close to each other. And of course, you know, we went through the whole legal ramifications of that, and the young lady with the braid shop, with the hairbrush, and she prevailed. It's the same thing over here for the gas station. There's a gas station right across the street. Not only that, Councilwoman Rao has a resolution on ordinance that says you cannot put gas stations within so many miles of another gas station. So what's my point? Why have a strategy if you're not going to live up to it?
I agree.
Why would you do that? I mean, the strategies are plain. Now I hear what they want to do is the same thing they did at the braid shop. What they want to do is come in and amend the strategy so that the facility can be legal. That's no way to run a business, Damita. And people I talked about listening, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Your people are telling you, no, we don't want it.
Okay.
But you're not listening.
But you're not listening. I'm going to get off of that gas station because I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live, Mayor, Thursday, and that's going to be one of the topics. So I hear what you're saying. I agree that the gas station, it's in District 3 because District 3 was it was divided up, but it's in District 2 because we got to pass it.
And I bring that up to me because, you know, when you talk about strategies and talk about, you know, guidelines for what you want for things, if you continuously override what you thought was a good idea yesterday, just because somebody else, for whatever reason,
Yes.
Needs to do something, that's not a good way to run a government.
Absolutely. So I'm going to move on because I want to make sure that you get all 24 questions that the first candidate got.
Sure.
So, what steps will you take to improve transparency and public trust in the city government?
First of all, people talk about transparency. But when something happens and it's wrong, then we get down to how we're going to do it right. People bring all kinds of documents and all kinds of resolutions and stuff to say that, well, this is the way it's supposed to be, but we didn't follow it. No, transparency begins day one up front. Has to be done up front. Everybody has to know what everybody's doing. It's the city manager's job to have her hand on the pulse of everything that goes on to the city. I am tired of people coming up in news articles saying that I didn't know. It's your job to know.
Okay.
So you must keep your pulse on the hands of the city, hands on the pulse of the city. And you got to know what to do, when to do, to turn things around, when to turn them around. But transparency, it starts day one. You know, if you got a project, I want to know about that project. What happened the first 30 days? What happened the first 6 months? You got to know that. Because if it starts changing, it starts doing different, you got to be able to have an opportunity to make that change.
Okay, that's understandable. Next question. What is your assessment of South Fulton Police Department and Fire Department staffing, training, and community relations?
Oh, that's a good one. I think the fire department overall has done pretty well. Chief Jones and his crew have done pretty well. I think the biggest thing is just getting them to have adequate facilities in which to provide fire safety services, adequate equipment, so to speak, and they're moving toward that. I do like the fact of the training facility for fire, no matter where it is. I'm for that because we've been talking about that for years. We have to have a facility that our people can train on to make our people safe. So that's a good thing. Police department, I think, has got some issues that we have to address. We just talked about transparency, right? We got 8 lawsuits pending in the police department. Nobody saw anything until then. Why does it take 8 lawsuits for us to do what's right? We had, this is the really one that gets me. We've had surveys of the police department. One I know of is a federal one. The other one I know of was a local one. Another police was investigating our police department for us. All right. Damita, just out of those 2, we got over 100 recommendations. Not one of those recommendations were adhered to. Not one.
Why do you think they didn't?
It's mind blowing. Here's one thing. I think sometimes we don't want people to know we got a problem. All right, and for people not to know we got a problem, we just don't address it. All right, especially that first one. That first thing was done by the federal government. It is mind blowing, and but we did nothing about it. The other thing is, so here's the problem. Here we go again. Got a problem with the police department. We've had people go in and look at it. We did nothing. So now we're gonna have somebody go look at it again. So we hired this guy. His name escapes me right now. He goes in to make an assessment of our police department. Now I don't know the exact figure we're paying him, but I guarantee it's a lot of money.
A resident sent me a note on that, and don't quote me, but they said it was $25,000 a month.
Might be. Now
And paying the chief another $15,000. Don't quote me, somewhere like that a month.
So let's go back to these strategies we talked about. When you, whatever the chief, that's how hierarchy goes. The chief leads, right? So why do we have an assistant chief? Where is he at? Was he not supposed to have that job when the man left? He doesn't have it.
That's a good question.
Yeah, we have brought someone in. Who are the officers in this police department supposed to respect and supposed to get their guidance from? You got the man coming in now. Now, you said we talk about strategy again. What's this strategy? Okay, we have a problem with the police department, so what we do is we remove the chief pending the investigation. Well, I don't have nothing, no bad issues with Chief Beddoes. I mean, he is who he is. But I don't need to keep Chief Meadows for $18,000 a month until they find out what's wrong with the police department and see if he's involved with it. To me, that could take a year.
Yeah.
It could take 6 months. So Chief, by right, will sit there and draw $18,000 a month for however long it takes to get the resolution to the problems in the police department. So I drop back. Who's riding the ship? You're gonna tell me that you cannot find out what's wrong in a police department if you do not talk to people, if you not verify things, to get us to the point where we don't need to be where we are now. The first deal we did when we brought somebody in told us something right there. Told us something. But guess what? If you ask the city council on that national deal they did to look into the police, they'll tell you they don't know nothing about it.
Wow. 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 Leadership matters. Let's move on. Wow. How do you plan to address crime and public safety while balancing the concerns about over-policing?
Over-policing, that's a good concept. I don't think I've run into that yet. Over-policing. We probably need more policing. Listen, there's two theories in police. There's overt and covert policing. Let me tell you what I mean by that. You see, everybody who on the police force, you know, when they got all this apparatus on the shoulder, they're constantly in contact with the police department, all right? But they're driving by your house, they're driving by your store, right? Why can't you get out? It's not like you miss a call. It's on your shoulder. Why can't you get out? Hey, Miss Jones, how you doing? Right. Or Mr. Business Owner, is everything going all right? I'm your beat police officer. I want to take care of your concern. Now you're mashing public safety with the concern.
Like they did it in 2005 when I moved down here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You did. That's called overt policing. Covert policing is when, you know, we got to be ready for a call. Now, I'm going to tell you something. You're not going to like what I'm about to say. But until the new man came in, as sometimes in our lives, in our city, we had 6 officers patrolling 75 miles.
Oh, I remember that.
This is just this ain't far ago. This ain't far along now. All right? So what we're going to have to do is morale means everything, Damita. These employees, including the police department, they're getting tired of being harassed, bullied, you know, looking at people who are above them, who shouldn't be above them, and trying to give them all the respect that they can, but knowingly know that they don't know what they're doing. So we're going to have to realign this police department. A $40 million building ain't going to fix your police department.
I agree. So, Mr. Edwards, this is me saying, not you, candidate. Do you think that the city council should stay out of the business of the police department? Do you think that would help the morale, some of the morale?
Well, let me put it this way. I think that council people should stay out of operations, period.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. What are the city's biggest infrastructure needs? Roads, sidewalks, lighting, drainage, and how will you fund the improvements?
All of the above. You have to be prepared. What I mean prepared, infrastructure-wise. If you want all these things that you say you want, big stores and things of that nature, you got to make sure that your ingress and regress is adequate for people who going into your store and trying to get out of it. We got 9 nodes in this city. What's a node? A node is a parcel of land that's been identified by the council as a ripe area for business growth. But if you do not fix that node up to accommodate what's coming, what you get is congestion. I won't call one node out right now, but if I call it, you'll understand. You can't keep piling on areas where your infrastructure is low. You can't keep piling on areas where you don't have the best traffic, where the roads are inadequate for you to do it. Oh, it looks good, it makes you sound good, but here's the problem. your infrastructure is shot because you didn't take care of it at first. I tell people all the time, if you want economic development, fix your sewer system. Because business goes where the sewer is. Business follows the sewer. Sewer don't follow the business like we're doing. We're putting the business in, and then on top of that, make some of these developers pay for some of these infrastructure problems. Make them pay for running sewer lines down the area. Make them pay for a stretch of sidewalk. Things of that nature. Make them pay for traffic lights. And I'm not saying we don't do it on some occasions, but we should really look at it and make sure that if they're going to be our partners, be your real partners. You know, help us to make sure that we don't have any infrastructure problems at all. So we're going to have. I'm looking at the other things we're doing with these data centers. Are we really looking at how it's going to impact our environmental piece? How it's going to impact? Are we ready? Do we have the sewer capacity to accommodate something of that nature?
Okay. Now, but since we're in this right here, I'm going to ask you, did you know about this? Because this came over to me this morning. Over there where the Coca-Cola place at, and it's in Union City. And you remember, you were the mayor when we had all the chaos when the folks come to talk about Coca-Cola. And then council folks stopped talking about Coca-Cola when Coca-Cola started giving them Coca-Cola. I was told today that on Mason Road, across from the Coca-Cola building, they're finna put a QT there. Did you know about that?
Yes, ma'am.
That QT, is it gonna be in the city of South Fulton, or, cause I got it on my notes, I'm gonna be talking about it, or is it gonna be in Union City?
Definitely in Union City.
Okay, thank you.
Like everything else that goes on over there that we be accused of doing, that is definitely Union City. But let me say something about that. I think that the only thing I hate about it, and I'm looking at two things, is Department of Transportation gonna give them a curb cut? Because they haven't given anybody else one. All right, and their thing was, you can only give a curb cut if you join to another road or if you're a hospital. They give you a curb cut. So it's gonna be interesting to see how the ingress and egress is gonna be in there. But it's gonna make a lot of money.
Oh yeah, it's gonna make a lot of money.
It's gonna make a lot of money. It's the only thing we have. And I said to people some time ago, we need to have a larger gas station, all right? Something along that line. But there's a way to do it. And what I don't like is you have taken away the buffer. When I was commissioner, we put in a 300-foot buffer, you may remember, along the corridor, along the road. Well, they have taken that buffer out. I hope they put something in there that's aesthetically pleasing to everybody in doing that. But that you go down, you know, it's like going down the corridor and you got some snaggertooth in there because they don't have any trees. But we have maintained those buffers for a long time, and yet now that one's taken out. I guarantee some more gonna be taken out.
So, in saying that, that's why relationships matter, because somebody should have been, for me, somebody should have been in communication with the mayor, sitting down at the table, talking about it. That's just me, I don't know.
No, relationships always matter. Sometimes you cannot do everything on your own, so you would need. I didn't get South Fulton's amphitheater here because of not having relationships, all right? We didn't get Fulton Industrial Boulevard in here by not having relationships. That's how we got them.
Okay. Now, and I'm gonna get off of that, but wasn't it, as I remember, didn't you guys, when you were on the council as mayor, they wanted to put a QT, I remember, because they was talking about it being a safe haven for abused women. Somewhere in the city, I think it was somewhere maybe on Flat Shoals or somewhere, and somebody they bucked against it, they didn't want there, they wanted that daycare or something to stay there. Am I right?
I don't recall the whole incident, but QT has a reputation of being a safe haven, and it also has a reputation of being a pretty good business when they
yes.
come up.
Oh, yes. Thank you. How would you tackle code enforcement issues, especially regarding blighted, illegal dumping, and absentee landlords?
Well, there's a couple things we need to do in those areas. I think, let me just start by this. I think, most of South Fulton is agricultural, where it was. And it seems to be that agricultural land is always the target for dumping. We need to make sure that we get with those landowners, and if we can, get them to rezone their properties for a specific use. That's why we have problems with our community when something comes up, because it's zoned agriculture and you got to change the zoning. We got to get code enforcement guys who are experienced and know what they're doing. We used to have, back in the day, you remember Billy Dukes and all those other guys, Stanley Fletcher, they were outstanding.
Yes, they were.
Because they wanted to make sure that not only they look good, but they need to make sure that this community looks good. When someone violates a code, it don't matter who they are. If they got to go to court, take them to court. Let them do it. Let your judge understand that we're not just taking people to court just to be funny. We're taking people to court to make sure that we give them every chance we can. And now you did not do anything, so now you're at the point where we're gonna have to find you, put you in jail, or whatever the case may be. I remember the guy on Hobgood Road. Remember when I was commissioner, we put him in jail 6 times. Look at the guy over there in the on Butner Road, where the horse is at.
Oh, you just made me think of that when Reggie,
why are we continuing to deal with that? Is something wrong?
Absolutely.
And I don't think it's in the code that's wrong, but it's something wrong either in our judicial system, or if there's anything in our codes that prohibit us from taking care of things like that, we need to change it. And so that's how I would answer that question. It's an important part of what we do. These businesses, these bus stations, it's imperative of us to talk to Marta and say, listen, who's supposed to pick up the trash, right? Is it us or is it you? Mm-hmm. And if it's not us or you, can we get together and do it collectively? But the important thing is to get the trash picked up.
Thank you. What is your plan for improving the parks, recreation centers, and green spaces in South Fulton?
Thank you for that question. Let me just say, I made it a point to say that we have 18 parks and 50 employees. All right. First thing you got to do is that you got to get more employees. And with the new public safety building coming on, it's going to have a linear park that's going to be accessible to that. So that makes 19, okay? So you're going to have to get more employees to do more things. Back in the day when I was commissioner, we had 5 people working in every park. I mean, Outlaw had Bird Act, that was where Outlaw was put. But with 50 people, you can't do that anymore. We're going to need more people in our parks so we can do what? Programming, all right? We also are going to have to, the influx of bringing in a senior center is going to free up a lot of stuff for our parks. A lot of our seniors using our recreational centers for our senior centers. You don't offer the kind of things that you need to do as a senior. So we got to push forward real hard to get the senior center done. Our parks employees are worked to death. We have over 300 events. Now understand, their job is parks and recreation. It's not parks, recreation, turkey feeding, dancing, all the stuff that comes with it, all right? These are extra things. But these guys are so committed to do things for the city that is right. These guys will work 60 and 70 hours a week just to get it done. Now, they're getting paid. You go back and look at the park budget, they are getting paid. But why are we taxing them in that manner? 300 events outside of parks and recreation a year, to me, that's too much.
I totally agree with you. Yeah, I totally agree. What strategies would you use to attract business and grow the city tax basis without displacing longtime residents?
We have to go back and look at our zoning. You don't want to displace anybody. That's not why you have zoning. And we got to follow whatever we approve in zoning. We got to follow the map. There's a such thing as a variance. And sometimes variances get us in trouble because variances sometimes kind of intrudes upon neighboring communities. So let's stick to the plan, number one. The other thing would be that we bring the right people to the right places. See, let me tell you. We'll sit back here like you all sit at this table, me and you. People will come in and say, oh, I want to come to South Fulton County. Y'all some great folks and yada, yada, yada. But they ain't no good. When do we get out from behind this desk? Go out to the community and say, I want you. People always talk about things they want, but nobody's going out there to get them. Or either government, people are going to be all right if you don't get them, but they just want to know that you're trying to get them. And we don't try to get them. Right now, the biggest thing in economic development seems to be gas stations. Right now, people going to electric vehicles, so that doesn't make a whole lot of sense either, does it?
No.
So we're going to have to get out and look at what's available for us. What do our people want? If I go talk to somebody who's 4,500 to come here, you know the only thing I'm going to ask them, what does it take for me to get you to South Fulton? Because bottom line, that's all we want to know. And I'm going to be armed with something. We don't have an economic development brochure.
Okay. Now you just said something, and I heard on a forum, so I wanted to clear it up because you brought it up about we don't have any Fortune 500 business in the city of South Fulton. I disagree because don't we have them along Fulton Industrial?
We don't have a lot of Fortune 500. We have some like Fortune 300 things of that nature. But we're talking about the big businesses, all right? And we're not going to have them until we improve ourselves, our personal appearance. Our council has got to do a better job of what they do and what they present each time they have a council meeting. Nobody's going to be wanting to come here to put a big business in or put a big building in if they feel that they're going to have these kinds of problems out of our council.
Okay, thanks. How do you plan to support small business and entrepreneurs in South Fulton? Take this mic.
Okay, I mean, you can hear me?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to make that two-way answer. The first one is going to be, how is small business going to change to support themselves? Business goes where it's welcome, but it stays where it's appreciated. We got to do better in our business. I read these little things on the computer sometimes about how people think about businesses, local businesses. Had one the other day that broke my heart because I've been to this local business. I know they had challenges, but I didn't think they had the challenges of that nature. So business is going to have to stand up, be respectful. You're in our city. You have to put respectful business in. It's going to have to look like something, and it's going to be your presentation, your product is going to be worth the money that we spend to do it. Got to do that. All right. The second thing I want to do is I would like to have what it's called. I want to have not an organization, but a group of people who don't particularly live in our community. But I want you to come over here periodically, and I want to say, listen, let me buy you dinner at Miss Jones' restaurant or Susie's restaurant, right? And when you finish, I want you to come tell me how you enjoyed yourself. I want you to I have a survey for you. Tell me, you have no nickel in the quarter, so just tell me honestly, how did you feel when you went into that business? All right, I want to do that. And I think we start looking at their responsibility to themselves And our responsibility is to help them. Now, when I get a bad report, I want to go to that business and say, look, here's what we got for your business. Here's how we can help you. All right. I also want to form a business incubator. And a business incubator is where people who have home businesses, they can come to this particular facility and they can run their business, and they can have a centralized reception area, a centralized printing area, and they can even have a secretarial pool if they wanted. But they would pay us. It would be included in their rent. And then we would train these people in the incubator to go out and start their businesses on their own. But at least we feel that they have everything that's equipped to them to have a good start in going out. So I'd like to see us have a business incubator.
What is your stance on affordable housing, and how will you balance development with preserving the neighborhood charter? And I'm gonna clear that up because you're talking about the associations.
I think the associations are good, a lot of them. I think the integrity of a community has to be taken in consideration. Our communities are different from community to community. We got legacy communities, we got up and coming communities. So we're gonna have to know what that is, even if we go to and bring businesses or commercial businesses in that seemingly protrude upon where they are. So for small businesses coming in, and for us to do what we want to do in economic development, it's got to be a partnership. It's got to be a partnership.
Okay. What is your vision for revitalizing the key commercial corridors such as Old National and Roosevelt Highway and the Camp Creek Parkway?
Two different things. Roosevelt Highway is an industrial highway.
Okay.
That's what it is. So you expect to have industry along Roosevelt Highway. But it doesn't have to look the way it looks. There are certain things you can do in terms of screening and buffering to make it look like, even though you have not a factory, but you have a big business over there, maybe it's a steel business.
Mm-hmm.
It don't have to look like it, all right? So I think that on Roosevelt Highway, being that it's already labeled as an industrial parkway, that we have to continue to do that. Old National, that's where my heart started. Many years ago, I was the president of Old National Commercial Association. We're gonna have to work on our aesthetics.
Okay.
We're gonna have to work on how does that corridor look? Why can't we plant flowers on that corridor? Why can't we deal with businesses that wanna be there, who wanna work with us, and not businesses that come into Old National Highway and bring the kinds of things that we don't need on the corridor? And I'm not talking about getting rid of business. I'm talking about if I have a problem with your business, let's talk about it, all right? And let's see if we can bring it into compliance and everybody enjoy what they're doing.
Okay, that's fair. How will you partner with Fulton County Schools to support student success in South Fulton?
Well, to me, I've always done that in my career. People don't understand. They'll tell you, well, that's the school's problem. We don't have nothing to do with the school. Yes, you do. And here's the deal. If you want the kind of people to move into your community that you think that you want to have, then they're going to look at two things. One is the police department, am I protected? Second thing is, can my child be educated? So how do you bridge that gap between government and these two governments? Because both of them have a piece in your economic development. So here's how you do it. We got good schools around here. I mean, good teachers. But what do? We say nothing about them. Don't say nothing. We've got kids come out of Westlake, went to MIT, got millions of dollars worth of scholarship out of Westlake alone, not counting Langston Hughes and others. But what do? We do nothing to talk about. So I want to highlight the good things that are happening, not with just our children, but with our parents in our schools. Now, people gonna say that's crazy. You're just the government, but if I want to get to where I want to get, I got to join hands with the public school system, and we got to be on the same page if we're going to have any type of economic development resource.
Okay. What resource or programs would you champion for youth development, job training, and safe teen driving?
You're the best champion I got right now in doing something like that.
What's that?
Parks and Rec.
Okay.
Parks and Rec has a workforce program that they are now up for a state award.
Awesome.
They're teaching kids in the park and recreation program. One of the things they're going to be bringing in is a business here, local business, that's going to be teaching welding. But they teach all this stuff right here at Parks and Recreation.
Wow.
They have been outstanding in what they do. And that program is going to continue to go on. We've had a program in parks for young ladies. Well, now it's been taken over by one of our council commissioners, but our council people, but it started in Parks and Recreation. So that is one area with their lack of personnel, but that is one area that I tell you has been key for us.
Mm-hmm. Okay. 17, what investments should the city make to better serve seniors, including those with mobility or accessible needs?
I talked to you about listening, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, with all this money you got, this claim you have, all right,
Mhm.
let's bring the citizens together and listen to what their issues are, and let's provide some of that for our seniors, especially those who have been immobilized. Get the doggone senior center. Get it. It ain't hard to do. And what you're gonna hear people say is, well, Fulton County hasn't been fair to us in terms of that. That's not what I hear. That's not what I hear from Fulton County at all. It's just the fact that, you know, even the city manager and the county manager haven't had any conversations.
Oh, wow.
So how do you move stuff along if you don't cooperate and move it out and talk to people about things?
Wow.
But you're gonna have to have that kind of communication to get it done.
Wow. How will you ensure all 7 districts in South Fulton receive adequate service and investments?
By knowing what they need. They're not 7 different cities. Let me make that clear. But they all have assorted needs and assorted values. So we must talk amongst each other, and we must talk to the people in the community, but let them know one thing. We are one city. You may have this over there because that's what you want. Somebody may have something over here because they want. Well, let's get together and let's unify, use the city resources so that everybody can achieve what they want to achieve. That's the way you do it.
Okay. We got a couple more questions. We're gonna be wrapping up. What specific strategies would you use to strengthen community engagement and help keep residents informed?
I ran this campaign and I said listening sessions. I will continue to do that. I want to meet you where you are. If it's the local barbershop, if it's the local grocery store, if it's any place, if it's in somebody's house, I want to continue to have listening sessions because you cannot get over what you want me to hear at 2 minutes at a meeting. So we need to get out here and talk to people, find out what their issues are, and then that way you're gonna find that the people are gonna put more trust in you because you heard them. All right, there's no way to get around it other than that.
Okay. How will you measure success as a mayor, and how will residents be able to hold you accountable?
Is your life any better yesterday than it was today? And that's a question, all right? And if it's not, where did we fail? We're not gonna be everything to everybody, but we're gonna be everything to most people, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Where did we fail? how do I garner, I'll go back to listening again, how do I garner from people? I mean, you can put everybody in these chairs in this sanctuary, but you won't touch 1% of the people, all right?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta get out there where they are and talk to them. If you can do that, then you can avoid a whole lot of stuff that's going on, a whole lot of arguments that's going on. People don't feel that they're part of the government, Damita. You see, this government is about service. It ain't about serve us, all right? And so we have to make sure that we're doing, everything we're doing lines up with the thinking of the people that we're doing it for.
I have to agree with you on that. I have to agree with you on that. The number one request from residents is to bring quality economic development projects. What projects or experience do you have with this?
When I was Fulton County Commissioner, for the years that I was there, I brought in $3 billion worth of economic development to unincorporated South Fulton. Not for the whole city, for the whole county, but $3 billion for unincorporated South Fulton. We're going to have to make up our minds that we're going to do better. Do better in what way? We're going to do better in the way people perceive us in the economic development realm, all right? Because we're not perceived very well. We're going to have to identify not just things that's going to bring us tax money, but things that's going to really make our people happy about this whole live, work, and play scheme. We're going to find businesses that's going to fit into that realm. We don't do that. We don't do that. So I think that what we're really going to have to do is, once again, I keep going back to this listening thing. I'm telling you, I'm not going to get off of it because we have so many people that really need to be heard. And so I think that once we start getting this listening thing back in order and we move forward, then things we do will not be a serve us. It'd be more like service. And service is to them and not us.
Okay. Why should we vote for either candidate who is currently on council back in office as a mayor when there has been so much division already?
That's a good question. What you don't hear a lot is that people say, well, we did pretty good the first 4 years. We didn't have the stuff we have now. To me, you were there the first 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was going to jail. You know, we didn't have P-card issues.
No.
We didn't have any of that the first 4 years. So it's a taste of this thing when I hear people say, we're running for office, that we've been bad for 8 years. No, we have not. We have the last 4 years. I mean, not saying we were perfect the first 4, but we were miles above what we did this last 4 years of government in the city. So we're just going to have to do better. We're going to have to put policies in place that help us get to where we want to get. We're going to have to put people in positions. I mean, we're going to have to pay people for what they're worth and nothing, not one dime more. I mean, we got people that are making a lot of money. More money than anybody else. But let's talk about, when I talk to you about sustainability, right?
Mm-hmm.
If your manager's making X amount of dollars, you know, more probably than the governor, all right?
Mm-hmm.
When and if that person leaves, right? The person who comes in to interview with you will want the same thing.
I agree.
Now, there's one other theory to that. It's called compression. And what compression is that if you raise your main person, then you got to raise the two up under.
Mm-hmm.
It's called compression.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to so sustainability, how can we sustain all this stuff? Give you another example. I'm not saying the police thing is a good thing or a bad thing. I love the fact they got decent interest rate and all that stuff. But Damita, has anybody talked to you about what they call M&O?
No, what is that? Explain that.
See, the money you're getting is for building, all right? But you got to run the building.
And pay the people.
Pay the people, you got to operate it. A building that size, for example, would have to have a facilities manager.
Mm-hmm.
That's operations. So why isn't that on the bottom line? That M&O is gonna cost us X amount of dollars. I could not have made a decision like that if I didn't know what it was gonna cost.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can't sustain it, it's not a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
Maintenance and operation is what it is. Your maintenance ain't gonna stop because you do a new building. You still gonna have to have maintenance. Operations gonna still have to go on. You open that door, you gotta get new furniture, you gotta probably get more people. I mean, there's a lot of things you gotta do. So, but I haven't seen anybody talk about maintenance and operation.
They're just talking about the
The
big,
building.
pretty
The
building.
big pretty building.
Okay. Okay. What would you want your legacy to be as mayor?
One is that I did things with respectability, I did things with honesty. I listened to the people and tried to take what they said and their suggestions and incorporate it into a government that they deserve. I want our community to look like something, that we made them look like something aesthetically. When people drive through the city of South Fulton, I want to say, look at this. Because I do that in other cities right now. I go to Johns Creek, I go everywhere. I'm like, oh my God, you know, you don't have to say nothing, just drive, all right? And so I want our cities to look like that. I want them to say that we have the best government, one of the best governments that we could have actually have ever had, and that they work with each other, they listen to each other, and most of all, they listen to us, and that made us the city we need to be. See, being known as the blackest city in America means nothing to me. What means something to me is to be known as the best city in America.
Okay. Look, we got two more questions and then we got a final. Being the mayor, and your role is the face of the city, shaking baby's hands, shaking grandma's hand. Why is the mayor role so important to you when you don't have nothing but veto power?
Well, you're the face and the voice of the city, and you have veto power. Now, I would love to have more, but I can work with that. And let me tell you how I will work with it. Because I believe if I communicate with you as a council person, and I'm communicating with my community, all right, then we're going to be able to get things done jointly. We're not gonna be able to fuss at each other, cuss at each other, or anything like that. We're gonna hear what people say, we're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna come out and make it happen. That doesn't happen these days. And simply because everybody's trying to make their own little area, district, a city. It ain't but one mayor, and that's who I'll be. And we can talk like that. We get you out of the operations business, get you more in tune to transparency up front, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And being able to talk to each other intelligently about things and not, they get personal. Let's talk to about the intelligent of things. See, the other thing you got to understand, it takes 4 votes to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't got 4 votes, you ain't got nothing but conversation.
That's what somebody told me.
And so, but how do you get 4 votes? You got to understand who you're working with. It's a give and take sometimes. Sometimes you have to take somebody and you have to really change their whole mind and concept about where they were going. They'll find that was not the right way. Come on back in and let's get it done. Most of the things, if you do it that way, most of the things that happen in this city can be done on the consent agenda. It can, because we've already mapped it out. We've already said, okay, most of it can be on the consent agenda.
Okay.
So it goes back to relationships, not only with your external relationships, but your internal relationships mean a lot to get things done.
Okay. Now, some people, they don't understand or they don't know that Old National and College Park, everything on Old National don't belong to the city of South Fulton.
Well, if you're speaking about the highway itself, ain't nothing belongs to South Fulton because the highway is state highway.
State
All
highway.
right. Once you get down to where the what's that Rally's hamburger place is,
Mhm.
on back to Jonesboro Road, that's the responsibility of South Fulton. But city of South Fulton. But I've always stated, let's get together with College Park and let's do something that would include them, whether it be sidewalks, whether it be whatever the case may be, because College Park has the front door.
And we got the back door.
We got the back door. So they see us before they see you. That's one reason why I worked hard when I was with the Old National Mercy Association to get to get Kroger to move from down there and come to where they are now. It made sense. The ingress and egress in the area was bad. People are going home this way. People ain't going to the grocery store coming that way and ordering no groceries. Get them on their way home, all right? And that was one emphasis for Kroger being on right.
Now, and since you brought up some stuff about Old National, because I hear people saying, well, we don't have this on Old National. We're not doing this on Old National. But if you go past New Life Presbyterian,
Yes.
it's one man that just about own everything on one side or a little bit farther down, I say.
New Life Presbyterian going toward Jonesboro or coming back
Yes,
toward?
going towards Jonesboro. You got, and I can go on and call his name out, Pastor Creflo owned majority of them buildings down there by his church. Is that correct?
That's correct, but it's going back the other way.
Okay, yeah,
That is
okay.
correct. Yes.
Okay, so if he owned those buildings, why haven't we held him accountable for them buildings? Because I ride through there and they need some upkeep. And they can't say they don't have the money because you got a big church there and you living pretty good. But I'm a firm believer, when you don't live amongst us in our city, you basically can do what you want because you're gonna make your money here and then you going on.
Well, let me do this. I'm going to disagree to a little.
Okay,
And that is, when I look at what Creflo and the church has done in terms of buildings,
okay,
their maintenance and concern for buildings has been great.
okay.
All right. Now, they don't pay no tax. that's always the issue sometimes. Some people believe that churches are going into businesses and they should. I'm not saying that I do believe that at all. But I can say he can be an impetus. Let me tell you how important he can be for us. And it's our fault.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the people who leave that church every Sunday have nothing to stop for.
They
No-
sure don't
no
sit
dinner.
down dinner.
No dinner, no clothing, no nothing. He could be an economic generator for Old National Highway because they're not stopping and they getting our church going to them bars, at least not at that time anyway.
Okay.
But that line is full. It's backed up when that church, and they have nothing
Nothing
to
to
do,
eat.
nothing to eat or nothing. I mean, some of them go to Big Daddy's, which is good, but we have nothing to eat. I mean, we had a Dunkin' Donuts, sit down Dunkin' Donuts. They turned that into a drive-through.
No.
So you have to drive and get it.
So could you imagine if we had a white linen restaurant over there? Some restaurants that I have to go. Look at all that revenue.
Or some nice. Listen, I go by there every day. My business, my daughter's business is still on Old National Highway. The drugstore's gone.
Yes.
I heard that's going to be a beauty supply.
Oh,
That's what I heard now.
my.
All right. So when do we make that change? I mean, people always say to me, Bill Elwood ran businesses off on Old National, he ran out the nightclub. Well, if I did, some of them needed to be run off. The thing about it is we're going to have to change the way we do it, to change the way we act, and we're going to have to light Old National up like they do in Miami. You see the candle lights in Miami?
Uh-huh.
We're going to light Old National up, and we're going to make it look presentable. We're going to put flowers and planters, and whatever we do, we're going to sweep that corridor, and it's going to be maintained every day. And if you're not willing to help us to maintain the corridor, then we need to talk about something else.
I agree with you. So, before I get to your last question, you got 3 council people that splits Old National. Now, this is me talking, this ain't the candidate. I think instead of giving all those parties and turkey giveaways, you can put that in beautifying flowers and making it look presentable. That's just me. Because you got 3 council people over there. Now, I'm going to say Old National has improved a lot.
Yes.
And I tell you, you can't turn a housewife, you can't turn into a housewife overnight. But it looks much better over there.
It does.
And District 7, I have to give it to the Mayor Pro Tem. It's very clean over there. And the last question I got, if you don't make it to the runoff, would you embrace the best qualified candidate to be mayor?
If I don't make the runoff, I'm going to embrace the city.
Okay.
I think that's about as best I could say.
Okay, well, at least you're honest.
And I say it because when I left office, Damita, you know this, I never stopped doing things.
No, you didn't.
I never stopped doing things for the city. I got the Hobgood fire put out by asking the governor if I can come in and bring somebody with me and we talk about this thing. We did that. I just met 3 weeks ago with Councilwoman Rao and Councilman J.C. Sebastian. I pulled together a meeting they couldn't pull together.
Okay.
But I got it pulled together. I think we did some with the county, and I think we did some marvelous things. So I have never stopped working. I didn't interfere with their stuff. You know, I'm not here to get up in front of a microphone every night and tell you how lousy you are or something like that. But I have never stopped running. So if in fact I will embrace this city.
Okay, that's fair. Well, Bill, it's been wonderful interviewing you. In your closing remarks, what do you want to say in your closing remarks at 1 minute? What do you want to say?
It's going to take a different kind of leadership for this city as we go in the future. A person who has organizational skills, a person who has the relationships, a person who is committed to the people and not to so much all of the process. And so if you look around, you line them all up and look around, there's not but one choice that you could have. And I think it's me.
Okay.
And so I tell people, I ain't finished yet. I want to finish what I started. I had 4 great years up there, and we wasn't on TV, we wasn't stealing, we wasn't doing nothing, or even accused of stealing. So I want to go back and clean this stuff up, get us back to where we are, so we can move forward. Bill Edwards is the only man that can do that.
Thank you, Bill Edwards, for coming. Again, this video will be sent out when I get done videoing all the candidates that confirm. Again, I want to thank Mr. Edwards for your time and just sitting down having a one-on-one with me, because when you did the last debate at Langston Hughes, I got several calls from people, and they were saying, Mrs. Chatman or Damita, we're not going to vote. And I asked why. I said, you got to vote. They said, we're not going to vote for none of the candidates because we need to hear from them. And would you do a 101? And I think you would be the best person to do that. And the pastor would tell you, I didn't want to do it, and come back, and I talked to him, and I said, okay, we're going to do it. So Thank you for taking the call.
Well, thank you and Pastor and the church for allowing us to have this opportunity to say what we need to say individually.
Thank you.